A man in prison who could kill remotely.
He demanded an immediate release from prison, but the judge refused.
In the next second, the judge was murdered.
At first, everyone thought the man was lying, but during this time, many people died outside the prison. The police were now afraid and wanted to release him as soon as possible. However, in court, the man changed his mind. The man reflected on his comfortable life in prison and no longer wanted to leave. He then angrily scolded the judge for lacking principles. The judge was furious and insisted on keeping the man in prison. But the next day, people discovered that the judge had been killed. Even the police suspected that the man might have superpowers. His superpower was his meticulous thinking and brilliant mind. Everything had been planned in advance with the purpose of revenge. 10 years ago, John's family suffered a home invasion. He was stabbed by the intruder, but due to his strong physique, John only fainted. However, his wife and daughter were not so lucky and lost their lives in this tragedy. After the police caught the criminals, the judge sentenced the ones who didn't kill to death, while Kevin, the one who committed murder, was only sentenced to 3 years in prison.
This verdict left John completely devastated.
John appealed to the prosecutor, but to maintain his success rate, the prosecutor compromised with the criminal.
The prosecutor told Kevin that if he pleaded guilty, he could be released without charges after 3 years. They even shook hands and took photos in front of reporters. From that day on, no one ever saw John again. It was as if he had completely vanished. Until 10 years later, when Kevin suddenly received a call from a mysterious person, warning him that the police were coming to arrest him. Kevin looked out the window and indeed saw the police approaching. As someone who had undoubtedly committed many bad deeds, Kevin knew that the police's arrival meant trouble, regardless of the reason. Following the mysterious caller's instructions, Kevin's only choice was to flee.
He spotted a police car on the roadside with an officer sleeping inside. Kevin forcefully woke up the officer at gunpoint and ordered him to drive away from there immediately. With the cover of the police car, Kevin easily escaped capture. Now all Kevin had to do was get rid of this police officer, and he would be safe. But just as Kevin was about to pull the trigger, the mysterious person called again. As they talked, Kevin realized that the police officer standing in front of him was the same mysterious caller. When Kevin realized he had been tricked, he immediately fired the gun, but instead of a bullet, a bunch of poisonous needles pierced his palm.
Kevin's body instantly became paralyzed.
The mysterious man approached, removed his wig and fake beard, and began to introduce himself to Kevin. It turned out that the mysterious man was none other than John from 10 years ago.